I have been working row 480 of the pattern. I've been taking out my stitch markers along the way, but before we can start the ribbing, we need to increase one set of stitches. In the beginning, we decreased before we started the pattern, but because the pattern contains 51 stitches, but for a 2 by 2 ribbing you need a number dividable by 4, so we need to make one set extra. And this is how I do it. The next stitch on my needle is this one, but I'm going to look at the stitch below. I'm going to take my right needle point and bring it from back to front in the right leg of the stitch below the one on the needle. I'm going to put my left needle in the front so that I can make a twisted knit. I will show that again. So my right needle goes into the right leg of the stitch below the next stitch on the needle. I'm going to pull up the loop, put my left needle in front, and I'm going to knit it as a twisted stitch. So now we have this one done, but it needs a mate. For this, you are going to bring your both of your yarns forward, and I'm going to drop my yarns for a second because I need to be able to show you what to do. This is the next stitch on the needle, and there you have its 2 legs. You need to have the right leg of the stitch below this one. So this is the leg we need. Be careful that you only pick up the leg, because it's really easy to pick up more than one strand, but you only want to pick up the right leg of the stitch below. Now I'm going to put my left needle in the back so that I can make, well, that looked kind of awkward, a purl stitch. That was a telephone call. I am going to show you how to make the purl increase once more. So we did the knit increase. We're going to bring our yarns forward. I'm going to turn my work, and this is the next stitch in the other color on the needle, and we need this leg to increase one stitch. Be careful that you don't pick up more than one strand, you only need the leg of the stitch below. Bring your left needle point in the back, and then you purl the stitch. We've now increased one set of stitches, and you are all set to finish this row and start your ribbing because you now have 52 pairs of stitches. I have finished the ribbing on my scarf. I cut the ends, and now I have moved all the stitches to the other end of the needle. So my working yarn is on this side, but we are going to bind off from the other side. I already started, but this is no rocket science. You just slip 2 stitches to your right hand needle and pull the second one over the first one without without splitting your yarn, preferably. Okay, so you pull it over. You slip a stitch to your right hand needle and you pull it over. Slip, This way you are going to bind off your entire shawl, and after that it's time for a soak and block. So I have my scarf here in tepid water with a drop of soak, and I always stress my knitters, don't leave your project alone when soaking. If one of the yarns that you used in your project is still bleeding, so that means that it gives some dye to the water, a lighter yarn, and especially an undyed yarn, like a lot of you are using, tends to soak it up. Normally, when dyeing yarn, you need heat and acid. And since we use tepid water and we use water with soap, we don't have heat and we don't have acid. But that's not a reason to be completely ignorant about the fact that if yarn bleeds, it could ruin your project. So please do be careful and just stick around. Watch it. If you see that there's a yarn bleeding, just take your project out of the water, rinse it with clear water, and just put it on your blocking mats. I've also heard the tip to use a color catcher. I have never done that before, but if you were to wash a brand new jeans, for example, that will most likely give some dye, blue dye, to the water. And if you have something lighter like a t-shirt or socks or anything in the same cycle, they will probably turn light blue or grayish, and that is the moment to use a color catcher. But I have no experience with color catchers because I have not used them in my washing machine either. I just tend to sort my laundry and make sure that there are no white undergarments or t-shirts or socks or anything in my dark load of laundry. And if I have new clothing or anything and it says wash separately the first time, I'm someone that just doesn't question that advice, and I just wash it separately. So, but I have had yarn from indie dyers once that that did bleed and that did color my white yarn. I used a very bright red and white together. I wouldn't say it messed my project up because it was all very tonal in a way, but I would have loved it if it would have stayed white. I have also used indie dyed, but also commercial dyed yarn, and then when you knit, where the yarn runs over your finger, it just leaves a stain. And I thought, wow, I must be very careful when I'm going to soak and wash it. And somehow that didn't bleed at all. No clue. I can only warn you to please be careful, stick around, look at what happens in your water and make sure that it will be all right. There was a Dutch knitter who did a Stephen West knit along, and she used, I think it was the last one. What was its name? Twists and Turns, that was the one. I think Twists and Turns used 3 or 5 colors. Anyway, she had one undyed skein in there, and when she finished her project she just put it in a soak and left the house for several hours, and then she came back and then the water was all turned brownish. And in the end it worked out perfectly, because the bare yarn was a little too light for her, so she really loved the way it turned out. But don't risk it. It would be such a shame to mess up a pattern, a project which took you so long to knit. I am going to I'm not going to rinse this, because obviously it does not need rinsing if you use soak or woolly wash or eucalyptus. But I'm going to spin dry it and block it, and I'll show that to you as well. Well, not the spin drying. That's totally boring and unnecessary. But I will show my blocking routine, and I will show the blocked scarf. My scarf, I laid it out on my blocking bed, and once it laid flat I took a measuring device, words are failing me once again, and I determined how wide I wanted my shawl to block. I went for 25 centimeters. So every time I put in pins, I don't have blocking pins, I just have these regular sewing pins. I check if I'm still on track on 25 centimeters. And this is not terribly important, because you will wear this thing around your neck, right? So, but I do like to make an effort, especially when I finish my project. And this is just a straight scarf, so this is a little easier if you are blocking a crescent shape or a half pie or anything, or if you are blocking something that has these chevron a chevron border where you have to really pin it out. That is a little more work, I think. I think this is quite good. So once I have it blocked out, pinned out, I will show it to you in close-up. And then we just need to wait for it to dry. Here it is in its full length. And I will try to show you the entire scarf. I'm sorry for moving. I'm apparently not very good at filming in this angle without too much movement. And here is the end. We ended the way we started. So it's pinned out, and all there's left is to wait until it's dry. When pinning it out, I came across a mistake or two, and I'm not going to be bothered. If I would have seen it during knitting, I would probably have gone back. But this is a graphic intense design, so I'm sure that it won't be, that no one will see it once I wear it. Another thing I did was I did not alternate skeins. Ooh. And I did that on purpose. I used 2 skeins from a different dye lot. So I knew I would never get them matching. Once I ran out of the first one, I started the second one, and you can see that it's pretty different. And when this is dry, I will put the beginning and the end next to each other, because that's the same pattern and the same image. And then you can clearly see what happened. And I said I did this on purpose because this shawl will probably go to the fairs with me, and then I can show people what happens if they use hand-dyed yarn and don't alternate skeins. If you don't care, don't bother. But if you want your garment or your shawl to look the same throughout, then you should bother and you should alternate. I'm going to record some instructions here. I'm nearly done, so I will talk to you later. Here you can clearly see the difference between the 2 dye baths. You see that the left one is more intense and darker, and the right one is a bit pale. I hope it shows up on video. Anyways, if I would have alternated the skeins, this difference would be non-existent. My shawl is finished. I still need to weave in the ends, but I need to record this video now. And I wanted to show you the length of my shawl. And it's a great length, if you ask me. I can put these in my coat and my neck will be all nice and warm and cozy. And I love the fact that we end it the way we began. I love that when you wear it, that you see these 2 pieces match up. I should have measured it beforehand, but I didn't. But if I fold it in half, this is the length of my shawl. That's a reasonable length and very nice to wear. I would like to thank you. Thank you so much for knitting along, for chatting along, for watching my vlogmases, for, well, all the nice messages I received. I can design something like this, but if you all don't want to knit it, then there's no point really, is there? So you have made me very, very happy. I'm amazed by the amount of knitters that joined in. So very, very happy about that. And before I go, I want to show you one card I received from a Dutch knitter. She is sending me the congratulations for my birthday, which is Tuesday. And she sends me a little bag of Christmas tea. And I love this brand, Yogi Tea. It's probably my favorite at the moment. And some knitting jewelry. And Catharine, the one that sent me this card and these presents, knows how much I love my knitting jewelry. She didn't knit along because she broke her arm shortly before the start of the scarf, so she can use it to train her arm again, and this was also on the inside. Happy knitting, stay calm, happy knitting, and congratulations. I love it. For now, it is time to say thank you again. Thank you. This project, it's amazing, but all good things come to an end. I'm going to miss recording my vlogmases. I'm going to miss opening a package each morning. I'm going to miss seeing all the beautiful scarves being knit. I'm not going to miss all the editing and all the La Posta mailings to program in the evening. But I can take a while off now, and then when we are starting the next knit along, I will be all prepped and happy about it, and then we are going to make a celebration again. For now, I wish you Merry Christmas to you and all your loved ones, and I wish you all the best for 2023. Thanks again and happy knitting, and I will see you next time. Bye!